Good morning.
My name is Sergios.
And I'm Serena.
Welcome to the 2024 AIMI Symposium. Great to see you all. We have a really phenomenal program for you today with great topics, outstanding speakers, and a really great audience. And we have over 200 participants in this room, and I think over 2,000 registered participants online. And you're the heart of the AIMI Symposium, so feel free to engage. You will be able to ask your questions during the Q&A sessions. And to our online participants, feel free to use Slido to engage as well. I see many familiar faces. That's great. And I see a lot of new colleagues and first-time participants. So if you want to know more about the AIMI Center, we have a table outside with a lot of information material. You can learn about what we do, what our projects are, and how to engage with us. So feel free to connect and learn about the AIMI Center. And also, feel free to share your experiences over social media. I think we can start with that. Serena, what do you think?
Are we going to do a selfie?
Yeah, let's do a selfie.
Okay.
All right. So let the world know how great this symposium will be today. Thanks all for joining. Serena.
Okay. And with that, we'd like to introduce some welcoming remarks from Dr. Curt Langlotz. He's a professor of radiology and of biomedical data science at Stanford, and he's also our esteemed director of the AIMI Center.
Thank you, Serena. Thank you, Sergios. Well, thank you, Serena. Thank you, Sergios. And it's so great to see everyone in the room this morning. Many old friends, new friends, delighted that you're all here. And I thought I would start with just something that happened yesterday. So we're calling this AI Health Week here at Stanford. And yesterday we had a meeting called Raise Health, which is responsible AI for safe and equitable healthcare. And we had many discussions. I hope some of you were able to attend. Conversations about ethics, about underserved populations, and some discussion in the afternoon about solutions. So if you're interested in that, QR code is here. You can get on the mailing list. And we expect that Raise Health and AIMI will be partnering quite a bit in the future. A few things I want to mention this morning before we get started. First of all, we're super proud. This is hot off the press, is our new impact report, which is out on the table outside. Reviews everything that we've tried to do to support AI research here in the School of Medicine and outside of Stanford over the past now, can you believe, 6 years we've been doing this. Really want to thank Joanna Kim and her team for pulling this all together and making it available to us here today. So please feel free to pick up a copy of that. If you read in here about the origins of the AIMI Center, you'll hear about how I and Matt Lundgren, our first co-director, thought about this as a center 6 years ago, and then hired Joanna, and really that's what was the origin of the AIMI Center. And it's kind of a full circle moment because Matt this morning is our keynote speaker and was one of the amazing early leaders of this field, as you know, through the Chexpert data and all the work that he's done in AI in medicine, both here at Stanford and where he is now at Microsoft. I did want to mention something also about our open data program, which was really something that Matt championed in his early days. I still remember the time when Matt came to me and said, we'd like to take some Stanford medical data and release it to the world for free. And I said, that'll never work. How could we possibly do that? But Matt was just a real champion of that and made it happen. And as you know, we've now released 20 AI-ready medical data sets from Stanford, which I think is the largest collection of AI-ready data sets in the world, and including our largest collection, which is the Chexpert data, 225,000 chest x-rays. Coming up soon, for those of you who are doing research in this area, is the release of the Chexpert reports. We have one last hurdle to jump over here at the university to make that possible, but we're planning to release the de-identified reports, the labels, some of the demographic data, the rad graph extractions, and some of those other important elements. So watch for that coming up. The other thing about that data program is we've had many inquiries from some of our industry partners about the use of that data for commercial purposes. And we think that's also part of our mission, that our commercial industry partners are those who take these algorithms and make them available to patients through their sale to healthcare organizations. And we thought it would be useful to make that data available to make their algorithms better, more accurate through enhanced training data. So we have a pilot program that is approved, and we will be starting soon. And if you have an interest in that, and you are an industry partner, please go to our website and to the Open Data Program. You'll see there a link to express interest in the licensing of the data. And we're using that just simply to defray the costs of the program itself, all the de-identification work and other work that we do. If you look at this book, I'm certainly proud of a lot of the things that we have in this impact report, but I think the thing that I'm proudest about is just all of you, just this amazing community that we've created together. And so I'm delighted that you're all here today, and I know from talking to Sergios and Serena and seeing the program that they've done an amazing job of setting up a lot of incredible content for you today. So with that, thank you all for being here, and I think we're in for an amazing day. Now I'd like to introduce our Vice Provost and Dean of Research here at Stanford. So a little bit about the academic org chart. So we all live in departments. Departments have chairs. The chairs report up to deans of schools, and the deans of the schools report up to the provost, who's the highest ranking officer academic officer in the university. And David Studdert is the vice provost and responsible for research, so the highest ranking leader here at Stanford, who's responsible for the support and the success of research across the university. And he has been a strong supporter of AI research across Stanford. He is also no stranger to healthcare. He's a professor of health policy in the School of Medicine and a professor in the School of Law. He's an expert in the fields of health law, health policy, and torts. His research explores how the legal system influences health and well-being of populations. He has a special interest in injury and has studied cases of medical error, suicide, road accidents, and firearm violence. He's a recipient of the Alice S. Hirsch New Investigator Award from Academy Health and received Federation and Laureate Fellowships from the Australian Research Council. His undergraduate work and law degrees from the University of Melbourne, Australia, and he has an MPH and a doctorate in health policy from the Harvard School of Public Health. We're delighted to have him here as we kick off this symposium. David Studdert, our Vice Provost and Dean of Research. David.
I'm delighted to be here, and thanks to all of you for coming, and Curt, thank you, and Matt and others for your leadership of AIMI. As Curt said, it's AI week at least on the west side of campus here. I was here yesterday morning at the Raise Health Symposium, and really, I have to say, the excitement in the room was palpable. I'm looking forward to seeing that continue today in the conversation you're going to have, and in the conversation you're going to have about the role that AI can and really must play in improving the well-being and health of patients and populations. So on behalf of the President and the Provost, I want to welcome you to this symposium. For those participating virtually around the world, thank you for joining this conversation. It really is a global conversation, so I'm glad you're here. And a special shout out to my compatriots down under. Yesterday's symposium was Raise Health's first. I note that this is AIMI's fifth. In Silicon Valley, we refer to that as market advantage. Except, as Curt pointed out, that AIMI and Raise Health are not competitors. They're allied initiatives, and they are being driven forward by many of the same faculty, staff, and students across our campus. The spirit of alliance that symbolizes really defines, I think, AIMI's relationship with a number of other AI initiatives across campus, and I want to say a word about that in a moment. AIMI's still a young center at Stanford, but it's achieved a lot. So, Curt, I'm delighted you've memorialized this in a pamphlet. I was flipping through some of the center's achievements last night. I'm really impressed by the strides that the center has made in broadening access to data and to tools. And probably the best example of that is AIMI's stewardship of this large open repository for AI-ready annotated multimodal data sets. And that's clearly become a major asset for AI and health researchers around the world. AIMI has drawn in faculty from over 20 departments in multiple schools. Stanford faculty have a lot of draws on their time, so that is an achievement in itself. And the backgrounds and expertise of these scholars range from clinical medicine to policy and theory, law, technology development, and analytic methods. AIMI's provided several $1 million in funding to support research projects with high potential to advance the field. AIMI has also supported early career researchers. I was delighted to note that that pipeline of early career researchers goes all the way back to high schoolers. And of course, AIMI's affiliated faculty and researchers have made many, many scholarly contributions to the field and to moving forward the field over the last 6 years. So as Curt says, I serve as the university's Vice Provost and Dean of Research, which is easily the least understood deanship on campus. When I was considering the job, someone pulled me aside and explained to me, it's the best of the 8 dean jobs because you don't have to worry about alumni or students. That turned out to be false information, actually. I do have to worry about alumni and students. Nonetheless, it's true that the job isn't as clear-cut or as easily defined as the standard school deanships. There are 3 main parts to the role. One is that I oversee the university's 15 independent institutes, centers, and labs. Secondly, I oversee the university's research enterprise more broadly. My office has within it the offices of sponsored research, Office of Technology Licensing, Environmental Health and Safety, Office for the Protection of Human Subjects and Animal Care, Central Compliance Office that covers things like conflicts of interest and undue foreign influence, and our shared research instruments and platforms across campus, some of them. And finally, I have a role in representing the university outside campus, particularly in Washington. These are quite different roles, but there are some common threads that run through them, and I just want to highlight a couple. One common thread is interdisciplinarity. These 15 independent institutes, centers, and labs we have here at Stanford were founded with the specific objective of fostering collaboration and creativity across disciplines. They were grounded in a belief that you could achieve greater interdisciplinarity in thinking and research if we provided spaces outside the traditional department and school structures. That has mostly worked. Our interdisciplinary institutes like BioX, ChemH, HAI, and the Freeman Spogli Institute for International Studies have thrived over the last 10 to 15 years. And the model has been widely emulated by our peers. It's also true, though, that a number of other entities across campus have achieved considerable interdisciplinarity in their work while also being tightly connected to schools. AIMI is one of those entities, and I think that ingredient of interdisciplinarity has been one of its elements of success. Another common thread that runs through the core functions of my office is shared research platforms. That was a major emphasis, a signature initiative really of my predecessor, Cam Moeller. Cam is a physicist who made her name on campus by standing up some shared nanoscience facilities that are very widely used today. The core idea here is pretty simple, and I think it's familiar to many in this room. A lot of cutting-edge research depends on cutting-edge tools and platforms. Compute, scientific instrumentation, methodologic know-how, and of course the technical support we need. And these tools really shouldn't be the province of a few faculty who were lucky enough to attract those resources or who hung around Stanford long enough that they acquired those assets. Really, they should be shared and accessible resources, and the university should invest heavily to make that happen. Over the last 5 years, Stanford has been doing that. AIMI has been doing it too, and I'm delighted to see built into the center's mission statement that the goal of democratizing AI by making data and transformative tools widely accessible. That is very synergistic with our wider research objectives in the university. One recent example of Stanford's commitment to shared resources, I think, has special resonance for this group. The President and Provost recently committed $30 million to upgrading our shared computing infrastructure. AI is a major impetus for this investment. AI technologies, as many of you know, are disrupting every part of our organizations. That's true here at the university, in teaching and learning, in our administration, and in our research. This is an opportunity, of course. Disruption can be good, but it also carries some risks with it. In our AI and ML research, we require a different kind of computing capacity, different from where we've concentrated our investments over the last 10 to 20 years. We need highly integrated GPU-centric computing capabilities that can support large-scale training and analysis. And we need to have that here on campus. Our research community is queuing up for this. Our research is in health and biology, in astrophysics, in policy, even in the digital humanities. We also need a different type of staff support than we've traditionally had on campus. Research data scientists from industry who are familiar with these GPU-based supercomputing platforms who can teach our faculty and our students how to optimize them. We expect to bring an NVIDIA SuperPod and several research data scientists onto campus this summer and fall explicitly for the purpose of supporting this kind of research. It won't be enough, and we remain small by industry standards, but it's a start. Let me close by congratulating AIMI again on its success. Any entity that can start in 2018 and have its 5th symposium in 2024 is both accomplished and apparently COVID-proof. I hope you enjoy the day. The program looks terrific, and I look forward to hearing about what the discussions bring. Thank you.